let me tell you about a powerful idea that will totally change how you look at business, at products, at pretty much everything. It's called jobs to be done.
Okay, so let's start with this really simple but kind of wild idea. People don't actually go out looking to buy your product.
Right. They hire products to do a job for them. Now, that sounds easy enough, but trust me, it completely flips the script on how we think about why people buy things.
And look, getting this concept is absolutely critical for anyone trying to create something new. If you don't understand the why, you're probably building the wrong thing, solving a problem that nobody actually has.
So to really see why this is such a big deal, let's first take a look at how most companies operate and, well, how they often get it so wrong.
You know the drill, right? Most companies slice and dice their customers by demographics, age, income, where you live, all that stuff. But here's the problem. That data only shows a correlation. It tells you who was buying, but it can't for the life of it tell you why.
And the proof is right there in the numbers. I mean, think about it. Tens of thousands of new consumer products are launched every single year, and a wild 75% of them just fail. And this is after companies have poured tons of money into market research based on those same old demographics.
So, okay, if all that demographic data isn't the answer, then what is? Well, this leads us right to the main event, the job to be done. It's a whole new way of looking at the world.
You know, there's this classic quote from Harvard marketing professor Theodore Levitt that just nails it. He said, "People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole." Your customer doesn't care about the drill, its color, its features. They care about the outcome. They just have a job that needs doing.
And that is what we call the job to be done, or JTBD for short. It's all about the progress a person is trying to make. See, what causes you to actually make a purchase isn't who you are. It's the fact that a job has suddenly popped up in your life that needs a solution.
And what's super interesting is that every single job has these three layers. You've got the functional part, the practical task, but there are also the emotional and social dimensions, how the customer wants to feel while doing it and how they want to be seen by others.
All right, to make this whole thing less abstract, let's talk about maybe the most famous real-world example of this theory in action. Let's dive into the milkshake mystery.
So you've got this big fast food chain, and they're stumped. They want to sell more milkshakes. Seems like a pretty straightforward goal. So they did what most companies do.
They asked their customers what they wanted. And of course, they got all the predictable answers. Make it chocolatier, give us more flavors, make it cheaper. The company listened, they made all the changes, and crickets. Nothing happened, sales didn't move an inch.
So then they brought in a researcher who just threw out all the old questions. Instead of asking what people wanted in a milkshake, he started with a brand new question. He asked, "What job did you hire that milkshake to do?" And then he just spent a whole day observing people.
And the insight was stunning. Nearly half of all their milkshakes were sold before 9 in the morning, mostly to people driving to work by themselves. The job had nothing to do with taste. They were hiring the milkshake to make a long, boring drive more interesting. It lasted the whole commute and only required one hand to drink.
And this is where the real light bulb goes off. A milkshakes competition in the morning isn't just other milkshakes or smoothies. No. For this specific job, it's competing against a banana, which has gone too fast. It's competing against a donut, which is messy. Heck, it's competing against boredom itself. The job defines the market, not the product category.
Okay, so now that we've got the framework, let's apply it to a major brand. Let's see how understanding the job explains both massive success and later struggles. Let's talk about Under Armour.
Under Armour had this explosive start, right? They began with one core product, then they expanded into new sports, and eventually they made these huge bets on things like tech and even high fashion.
The company's entire early success was built on perfectly solving one crystal clear job. The founder, Kevin Plank, he was a football player, and he was sick and tired of sweat-soaked cotton shirts weighing him down. So he created heat gear to solve that specific functional job, help athletes perform better. And here's the crucial point. When Under Armour served that same job, improving athletic performance, they won, big time. But when they tried to enter new jobs, like fashion or health tracking, their advantage just evaporated. The brand's core purpose just didn't translate to those totally different jobs.
This all brings us to the ultimate takeaway for anyone out there trying to build something new, whether it's a product, a service, or a whole company.
The best, most innovative companies out there, they don't start by asking about the product. They're not obsessing over features and what their competitors are doing. They obsess over the customer's struggle. They start by asking,
What progress is the customer trying to make? What job are we truly trying to solve here?
And that is the final punchline. The goal of real innovation is not to build a better drill. It's to create a better way to make a quarter-inch hole. It's all about finding a better solution to a customer's real underlying problem.
So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. Think about that app you can't live without, or your favorite pair of shoes, maybe even the cup of coffee you're drinking right now. What job did you really hire it to do? I bet the answer might just surprise you.